June 13th, 2023, 6:28 p.m. And I would like to open the Howell Council meeting.
We'll begin with the roll call. Councilwoman Fisher?
Here.
Councilman Gager?
Here.
Councilman Nadell?
Present.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Here.
Mayor Berger?
Present. Is there any reason to go into executive?
Yes, Mayor, we have some topics to include real estate acquisition and attorney-client privilege.
Thank you. At this time, may I have a motion to go in executive?
Motion to go into executive?
Second?
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Begin with the roll call. Councilwoman Fisher?
Here.
Councilman Gager?
Here.
Councilman Nadell?
Present.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Here.
Mayor Berger?
Present. At this time, could we please say the Pledge of Allegiance, and also let's remember all of our fallen heroes. And also, there are other flags that have been being addressed this month in Pride, and so I would hope that you would think about that flag as well. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
All right.
May I have a motion to accept the May 9th, 2023 minutes?
Motion to accept minutes?
Second.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes. May I have a motion to accept the May 23rd, 2023 minutes?
Motion to accept May 23, 2023 minutes. Second?
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes. We have some report of township officials. So if you just give me 1 second, I just had a couple of things. Well, I just wanted to remember all of the dads in town and grandpas and uncles and brothers. Happy Father's Day to all of them. Howell High Schools in Howell Freehold Regional Area are graduating June 22nd, and the 23rd is the rain date. And also middle school north and south will be the 20th and the 21st. I want to say to the team that worked on the event today, it was a very well-run event. DPW did an outstanding job out there. It was really organized. It was really enjoyable just seeing how smoothly that it went. So thank you, and thank your team very much for what you did.
Thank you.
Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Again, a reminder, tomorrow's Flag Day, an opportunity for the entire country to be inclusive and understanding how important the symbol of our country is. So I would urge everyone to fly it tomorrow, as well as the other 364 days a year. Again, today's event was stellar. I know this was our clerk's first student government day. You did a wonderful job, and your staff was outstanding.
Thank you.
We thank you very much. Last Saturday, the archery range had their ribbon cutting, and I will say that it is off of Bass Place, Stanley Boulevard, in that area of town. Amazing job they've done in a short amount of time. It looks like a possibility of a real family-oriented kind of sport. It's done with all safety measures involved, and it was very nice to go and have the ribbon cutting and learn something about archery as well. Also, we have a local Howell young lady that's had some severe health issues, Danielle Amato, who, notwithstanding the story, started out with a sore throat and wound up with several amputations. As a result of this horrific journey that she had with her family, of course, there's medical bills that are, I'm sure, insurmountable. our very own Howell Elks have stepped up, and they're going to do a fundraiser, and that will be on June 25th, 2 to 6 o'clock. And again, at the Howell Elks, I urge anyone that is able to attend to be supportive of this family in their time of need. As always, Howell Township always tries to rally around those people in our community that are in need. So a huge thank you to the Howell Elks before they even have their event. The same day as the archery ribbon cutting, we had the Baxter Fishing Derby. I think there were 50-plus children took advantage of it. It was a pretty chilly day, but that didn't stop any of them. Nobody brought in their pole. Everybody stood there chattering with their poles. It was so well attended. I think this was more a bigger attendance than last year, or the last time that we actually had it. And as always, the Baxter family has helped us start an ongoing wonderful day for families to share. And there's something else. You'll bear with me. Oh, I wanted to also say that I found out that Allison Sirianni has made a small booklet, and it's all about the Howell Clerk's Office. And in it, it explains their duties and that type of thing. So I urge people, I just found it today. I don't know when she did it, but it's really informative. So if we can get these out maybe on the coffee table near the bathroom doors, I think it's important for the not just council, although I'm sure they do more than we realize. And the clerk's office really is the bloodline and our safety net for council. But I think it's important for the residents to understand what is there at their disposal as well. The clerk's office, as all of our departments, are at the public's disposal as well. We all work for you. So this brochure is pretty in-depth, and it's a very good resource. So I urge you to pick it up when you see it. Thank you.
Councilwoman?
I have nothing.
Okay. Councilman?
Did you take all of the notes for what I was going to talk about today?
This was all of the things I've done. So
You did. So,
I summarized my week.
No, thanks for bringing them all up, but no, I'd just like to congratulate all the people who were involved for today. It was a nice event, and somebody who taught high school for 16 years, I appreciate talking to the kids like that, and they did a great job, and that's all I have.
Councilman?
Yeah, I'm just going to reiterate what everyone else is saying. Just, seeing earlier today, the amount of seventh graders that showed an interest to come down for Student Government Day. There were more of them here than people in this room right now for an actual council meeting. So, and they just did a great job during their student council meeting. So just a great job all around today.
Thank you. Mr. Clark?
So, not a whole lot other than to echo what a great job the clerk's office and DPW and everybody did today with Student Government Day. It was nice to have the students back after the pandemic. I think everybody had incredible poise today, not just the young ladies on the dais, but everybody. It kind of gives you hope to see these kids take an interest in everything that's happening. And in fact, I thought that the Mayor Davers' speech to us was so good, I asked for a copy of it because we're going to see if we can get some volunteer hours up on the website and incorporate a few of the things that she suggested.
She really did have good ideas.
Yes. Yeah, so it works, and we'll see what we can do in terms of working with the school and getting opportunities out there for the kids. Shade Tree and Environmental have a lot coming up, so there we go.
I don't have much. I usually don't go into personnel, but I have 2 code enforcement inspector positions open. We're looking for somebody with maybe past law enforcement experience or past code enforcement experience. If you're interested and you have that experience, please apply on our website. Thank you.
Council?
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to open up for hearing of citizens and public comment on the consent agenda items for this evening.
Each person shall give their name and address to the clerk. The council shall be addressed as a collective body and not as individual members. Each person shall have 1 turn to address the council, and comments shall not exceed a total of 5 minutes. Speakers shall be notified when their time has run, and no time extensions shall be permitted.
Mr. Reinberger?
Good evening. As you
Good
know,
evening.
I've been coming in here for quite some time. Problems on my road, speeding trucks, etc. Finally had a meeting with Mr. Clark about a month ago. It was a joke. The whole thing was a setup. It was nothing but a witch hunt. Clark pulled out a piece of paper. He's trying to tell me that 4 trucks a day come down the road, which is absolutely ridiculous. I probably get about 4 trucks in 10 minutes coming down the road. He claims he got it from the Howell Township Police Department. And then he's trying to tell me that the last time they did a speed survey, I think it was something like 2,500 or 3,000 cars and trucks a day were doing 49 miles an hour, which is the speed limit is 35 miles an hour. He's trying to tell me, because the cops go out there every now and again, that the speed limit dropped to 10 miles an hour, which is absolutely ridiculous. So, and like I told you the last meeting, I told you about the special needs child that was half a step away from getting creamed by a car that went around a school bus. So I think at this time, I need to film it, okay? And bring it in to show this council what actually is going on down there. And I need to know, how can I get that film to you? How can you see it?
Text it.
Text
You
it?
can text it or email it.
Cell phone?
I will give you my cell phone.
Okay.
Respectfully, Mr. Clark, that kind of information would go to the police department so that a summons would be issued if it were needed, correct?
It should go to the clerk. The clerk's the secretary for the governing body, and she'll distribute it to everybody.
How can I get your cell phones? How can I get your phone numbers so I can give it to you?
I can give you my email address.
You would go, as the clerk said, sorry? If you can get it to the clerk, she'll give you the clerk will give you her email address. You can send it to her, and she'll distribute it to the governing body and any other department that should see it.
Could I do that right now? Can I get that information right now?
Yeah, I'll give you my email address right now.
Okay. Also, how can I get a copy of the bogus reports? The one about the
You'd have to,
fabricated about the amount of trucks coming down the road.
you would have to put in an Oprah for the information, is that correct?
You can submit an Oprah, and we'll provide the report.
And who do I go to get that?
Same email address.
Same place?
Yep.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Lawrence White, 15 Renway. Point of information before I continue, I wanted to speak to 02320 and I believe 02321. Is there any potential for public comment at the time that the ordinance is being considered, or is my only opportunity now in public comment?
Today, it would only be during public comment. Those are ordinances and for first reading. They will have a public hearing if they pass tonight on second reading.
Very good. I will wait for that point in time then. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I have a couple of people with the same address. Did you want to come up at the same time, or did you want to come up separately? So I'll do 156. Is that, your address was 156?
Correct, yes.
Okay. So Tracy Harper, Jamie, and Ken Harper.
Ken Harper and Jim Harper, they're at a meeting for fire commissioner. So
Okay,
they didn't know if they were going to be able to make it in time.
okay. Thank you.
My name is Tracy Harper. I'm a resident of Freewood Acres. I moved there in 1998 when I married my husband. I've lived there for 25 years this year. The problem, this amendment I have a problem with is that the original problem that was running through my neighborhood was a horrific sewer stench. The sewer stench was so bad that you had to run from your car to your house and close your door. You couldn't go on your deck, especially in the summer. It was nauseating. The toilets would be sucked out of water, including the second floor, and it would emit sewer gas into your home. We had both the health department and the fire department out on several occasions due to a gas zone.
My house was aired out by the fire department.
What we found out was that back in the 1980s, they ran a main sewer lateral through my neighborhood, a sewer main.
Out of lateral.
They're not supposed to do that. As a result, everybody hooked up to the main sewer, not a lateral. This project, the Freewood Acres Sewer Project, was to correct that problem. Somehow, between 2017 and 2019, they added water with New Jersey American Water, and there was a deal made with New Jersey American Water. I don't have a problem with bringing water into my community, but I have a serious problem with your amendment. You're forcing every resident of Freewood Acres, if they have a well, even a good well, to close their well down and to go and hook up. Now, in my research, I found with the New Jersey State Assembly, I found bill number 617, which is sponsored by Sean Kane and Edward Thompson. This was to earmark $2.125 million from the general fund to Howell Township to help pay for that water and sewer project. It's quoted as saying, the extension of drinking water pipes to the oldest and most economically stressed neighborhood in the township. I would like to know why Freewood Acres is being named the most economically stressed neighborhood in the township, and why the town is asking for $2.125 million to cover the costs because the deal caused a financial burden. But you're,
We're one of the most highest taxed area. How do we pay $10,000 a year?
and then
for
you guys
property
are
tax?
turning around saying, well, you got to pay $10,000. But we're the most economically stressed neighborhood. That doesn't make any sense. Last year, we came up and we asked for help. We said we did not want this amendment. People were going to look into it. You looked into it by adding 4 more restrictions to the amendment, which is in the amendment tonight. We are,
I thought
again,
we were getting help.
we're getting hurt.
I thought somebody was going to look into it.
We're getting hurt. We live in a very racially diverse community with working families putting their kids through college. Let me tell you what $10,000 pays. A year and a semester at Brookdale. It pays a portion of a college tuition. This is our neighborhood. We have college-age kids, parents trying to get college-age kids to go to school. They're trying to upgrade their homes. How are they going to do that? They're going to have to hook up and spend $10,000 or get a loan for $10,000 to pay this hookup. This isn't right.
And some of us already paid $10,000 to have our wells redone.
I paid $12,000 to have my well done.
And I paid 10. And my water is beautiful.
Our water's perfect.
200 feet in the ground, and I have 100%
We're asking for the
drinking
final
water.
time for the council to vote it down, to remove this. Give us the choice to hook up. If
We
there-
understand there's other people that need it.
And
we
that's
don't-
fine.
And that's fine, but there's a good amount, I mean, on our block alone, there's got to be 8 to 10 houses that their wells are pretty new, and everybody is within code, and their water is wonderful. How can we be forced? And we're being labeled as the only one in the ordinance. How many other neighborhoods are also where this water line went through? They're not being forced. They're
Excuse
not
me,
being
I'm
told
sorry, your
that.
time has ended.
Thank you.
Would you like to split it?
Split it how?
You could each speak.
Well, that's what we're doing.
Okay, then, sorry, your time has ended.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, there's no one else on the consent, on the list for the consent agenda. Is there anyone else that would like to come up and speak?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Joe DeBella, 41 Lions Court in Howell. I wanted to speak about the municipal budget, which I had read and followed about. And it struck me fairly ironic that there were multiple meetings devoted to the budget. There were multiple hearings. There was lots of debate, lots of deliberation, lots of back and forth, I would imagine, interaction with manager, CFO, and otherwise. And yet, in spite of the fact of all of that discussion, it's my understanding the mayor voted no. Her right to do so. But I think it takes an awful lot of guts and an awful lot of nerve to not participate, to not engage, not offer a single idea, not reference a single cut, not mention how you would effectively address the budget. And as the mayor, I think you have an additional responsibility to be engaged. But I think it takes an awful lot of chutzpah to not show up, not participate, not offer a single idea, and then vote no. In my view, it's an act of cowardice. And it is a betrayal to the people of this community that people don't show up, don't do their job, and then simply come and vote no because it seems politically expedient. When in fact, from what I read and what was publicly available, I sat in the budget presentation your manager did, the entire lion's share of the reason we have a tax increase is because of Governor Murphy, this massive increase in healthcare costs, which was thrust upon all of the municipalities in the state plan, of which no one knew and found out at the last minute, because of the wrecked economy that we have and what's happening with the White House, and the fact that goods and services have gone up from fuel, from supplies, and the fact that our township employees, vis-a-vis their collective bargaining obligations, are entitled to a decent raise. So I wonder, when you vote no, is it because you don't think that our township employees should get a raise? When you vote no, are you voting against our blue-collar township employees having health benefit coverage? When you vote no, do you even have an intellectual grasp of how the municipal budget process works? But it's politically expedient to show up and vote no and say I'm a champion of the taxpayers. I think it's a fraud. It is reminiscent. It is reminiscent of someone who would run around for 6 years and say, stop the development, but never once offer a single idea or a plan or a blueprint, a memo, call for a special meeting, show up at a meeting. It is reminiscent of the same style behavior. Let me run around and tell people all the things I'm going to do, and then I won't do it, and I won't show up, and I'll just vote no. I think the people of this community deserve better. As a taxpaying resident, I find it to be an outrage that someone would behave in this manner, when the simple part of the job is just show up. At least do that. At least do that. Now, I'm sure there'll be an army of people who come up and attack me personally, and I'm here talking about matters of public record that are policy. It's not personal. This is a matter of public policy and exactly and specifically what happened. I'm sure there'll be all kinds of rhetoric after I sit down, but as someone who's been here for 25 years, who was the mayor, who knows the responsibility that the five of you have, I find it to be an absolute disgrace. First on stop the development, Then on budget, and I know I'm coming up on my minute, I can hear people in the audience being rude and disrespectful when other members of the public are up here to speak. And that in and of itself is also unfortunate. But I just urge you, the four of you, to continue to do what you do. You're here, you do the job, you do what's right, whether it's politically popular or not, and I give you credit for doing that. You could have taken the easy way out, just voted no, blamed somebody else. You did the right thing. So as a resident, I thank you for that, for making the tough decisions. I am optimistic that some of the things we're dealing with will come to an end soon enough, and we'll have 5 people who actually show up and do the work and are prepared to make the tough decisions and not stay home and hide and be afraid of the consequences of their actions. So I appreciate the 4 of your work. Keep it up. I think you're doing a terrific job. Thank you very much.
I appreciate your comments, your gaslighting. I've missed so much.
Moron. For the record, I'd just like to suggest this gentleman called another member of the public, as I'm approaching to sit down, a moron. Little disrespectful.
Mr. DeBella, you've come up here and called me whatever you so choose. I think that was kind of an easy name.
Mayor, your behavior...
I'm sorry, is that Mr. McCabe?
Can we continue with the meeting, please? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Friend.
Good evening, council.
John McCabe, 26 Taunton Drive. Hi, Joe. It's good to see you again. You know, you're up here again, making another speech, trying to, I don't even know what it is. I mean, you keep saying that you're a resident of Howell. What you don't say is that you're a Republican chairman. So you're up here politicking again. That's not the way the council works.
Excuse me 1 second. Gentlemen, excuse me. This only occurs when Mr. DeBella is in the meeting. Mr. McCabe, please continue.
Thank you, Mayor. The mayor's vote, as I understand it, when she said it, was against a 4% increase. Joe, in taxes. Mr. DeBella might say otherwise, but she didn't want a 4% increase. That's her right as a mayor and council member to vote for that. I don't know why you're so upset, Joe. It passed. Why are you so upset? The mayor has been going to these council meetings, going on 7 years. 7 years. We've had other council members who've missed far more meetings than she has. I thank the mayor for looking after the residents of Howell and voting against a 4% increase in our taxes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I understand. Everyone votes the way they feel, and that's their right. Council members that voted for it, you did it for your own reasons, and I'm not up here to destroy you for voting a 4% increase on our taxes. But I'm up here because Mr. DeBella decided he was going to go after the mayor again. Joe, how many times are you going to try and ride her ass?
Please address the council.
I mean, come on. This is just theater. It really is theater. And also on the housing, when Mayor Berger came in, she's the one who scheduled meetings with the council at the middle schools to discuss the housing issue and what we were facing. Turnout was overwhelming, and she's been behind the scenes working with the prior administrators and the council since then. So, Mr. DeBella, I don't know what you're doing or where you're getting. It's just trying to go after the mayor again, because you can't believe that she won. That's it. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. If you would like to come up and speak, please.
Hi, Ben Novick, 58 Yellowstone Lane, Howell, New Jersey. I just want to thank the two council members and deputy mayor that showed up to Memorial Day services. It's very heartfelt that you could make it, because you know what it means and I know what it means. Tonight, I'm just getting a little tired of paying a lot of money for litigation that this township has to pay off. I've lived here since the 70s, and every decade, there's been an issue with departments, heads of departments, mayors, this and that, that has caused the taxpayer to expend money that's unnecessarily. Like today in the Asbury Park Press, everybody, I'm sure, read the debacle that's going to be going on now, and I'm sure it's going to cost our insurance company from the township, which dribbles down to the taxpayer. So I'd like everybody to take a good look at all the departments, and if there's any flim-flam going on, please try and correct it before we have to pay out some more money. I know it's a hard job sitting up there, you put in a lot of time, but I'm tired of paying extra money for unnecessary BS. Thank you very much.
Like a 4% increase?
We're not voting for it?
Is there anybody else that would like to come up and speak?
Hello, my name's Glenn Veracruz. I live at 146 West 3rd Street. I have a couple questions about the
Repeat your name, please.
My name is Glenn Veracruz. I live at 146 West 3rd Street in the Freewood Acres area. My questions are regarding this water and sewer issue. You had just mentioned that you're going to vote on it tonight, the ordinance, and if it's voted down, what happens then? Are you going to write a new ordinance? And if it's not voted down and it's passed, what is our recourse if we don't want to go through with this?
Council?
We're willing to, we don't want to do this. We've been over a year now. We came here last time, we said it was going to be you said it was going to be worked on. I mean, we don't want to go through having to get an attorney and suing the township. I'd like to know what authority you have to condemn our wells that pass water tests. I mean, where is that statute? Where is that written in the state of New Jersey where you have the authority to do this? Can somebody please answer that?
Okay. I'm sorry, sir, if you will do all comments at the end, so if you have other questions, please ask them now, and then they'll be responded to.
Okay, why the big push to get us hooked up to American Water? We have perfectly good wells. They pass water tests. We passed all the codes to get our wells. My question basically is what I asked before. Why the big push? What, is it in somebody's best interest here to get us hooked up? I mean, it raises a lot of questions in our minds. Why the push to have this done? And what authority do you have to force us to do this? And that's all I have to say. Could somebody please answer those questions?
They will. At the end of all of the members who come up to speak, then the professionals will answer all the questions at the end.
So I'll have another chance to come up, or you've taken these questions down and you're going to answer them?
No, they're taking the questions and then they will answer them.
Will I have a rebuttal after that?
No, I don't think that,
I'm sorry.
I don't believe that there is some to come back to rebut.
Public hearing.
I have written documentation for the...
Sir, you'll be able to come up during discussion when we adopt the ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
Just be clear, the ordinance is on for first reading tonight, I think.
It's not being voted on tonight?
Oh, my mistake.
Okay,
The councilman is entirely correct.
thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to come up? Then I would like to close this portion of the consent agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
At this time, is there anything on the consent agenda that a member would like to be pulled out to be voted on separately? No? So then may I have a motion for Resolution R 23-231 through R 23-247? Is that correct?
Yes.
May I
I'll
have
make a motion for those items inclusive.
Second?
Second.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
Thank you. The consent resolutions pass.
There are no resolutions to be voted on separately, so we're going to move on to unfinished business or the public adoption of ordinances.
Excuse me, Mayor Berger?
Yes, ma'am.
There is a township manager appointment, Resolution R 23-247A, appointing,
I'm sorry, I printed mine out from work, so it's on the new one then, I didn't see it.
yeah, that's okay, it's a township manager's appointment, and it is to appoint Joan Osborne as regular member alternate 1, expired 5-year term, expiring 12/31/2023, to the Howell Township Shade Tree Commission, and no vote is required.
Right.
Thank you.
So she'll be a member, alternate 1, until the end of this year.
Thank you. I would like to go to ordinance 023-14, an ordinance of the Township of Howell, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Howell, Monmouth County, amending Schedule 2 of Section 3.4, parking prohibited under certain hours on certain streets of Chapter 7, Traffic of the Township Code of the Township of Howell.
Public hearing is now open.
Open. Seeing no one, I would like to close the hearing. May I have a motion?
Motion to accept O 23-14.
Second?
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance is adopted.
Ordinance 23-15, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Howell authorizing the leasing of certain recreational fields to Jersey Junior Roller Derby Thrasher. I will open this to the public. Does anyone want to come up and speak? Well, then I will close to the public. May I have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 23-15.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance is adopted.
Ordinance 23-16, an ordinance of the Township of Howell amending Chapter 252, Article 2, Sewer Utility, Section 20, entitled Connection of Existing Facilities to Public Sewer Required, Time Limit of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Howell. I would like to open this for public comment. Now, Mr. Clark, we never answered the questions from the consent agenda.
We'll do that after this. So we'll handle the sewer and we'll handle the water ones when that's open for the hearing. In terms of the other ones, we'll address them at the end of the
So then they'll
adoption
be able
ordinance.
to come back up?
No, there is no give and take on it. Anybody who wants to address the stuff on the water ordinance can come up and speak on it then. We tend to let
Well,
people
that-
go out of turn, but it's not like question and answer session.
No, that's what I mean. So if
Yeah.
somebody wants to talk about that specific one, then they would come up.
That ordinance, they can come up at that time and put stuff on the record about it.
But wouldn't that gentleman have just done that?
That's how we'll consider it. So when we open this up for public comment on the
Then you'll-
water,
you'll
we'll
answer it.
answer his questions.
Thank you. I just wanted to be clear. May I have a motion?
You want to open it up to public hearing?
Oh, I thought I already did. And I already did, actually.
Okay, sorry, my
And nobody
mistake.
came up.
Seeing no public coming up,
No.
I'll make a motion to close.
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye. May I have a motion?
Motion to accept O23-16.
Correct. May I have a second?
Second.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance is adopted.
Ordinance 23-17, an ordinance of the Township of Howell amending Chapter 252, Article 3, Water Service in Freehold Acres, Section 23, entitled Connection of Existing Facilities to Public Water Required, time limit of the revised general ordinances of the Township of Howell. I will open this for public comment. Please come up.
So we'll address some of the comments. So
Okay, so, Mr. Clark was going to address some of the comments from before, and then,
So we were asked why the hookup. So that was part of the project. Back in 2016, we originally had an ordinance requiring the hookup to sewer. When water was included in the project, we had discussed with New Jersey American the payment structure of it. They funded back to us the cost of the project, and the understanding is that people would be required to hook up as a result. That led to the first Must Connect back in 2019. So 3 of you weren't here, 2 of you were. That time period was extended again in 2021 to just this past May. So the time to hook up's expired. This extends it another 2 years. So we've spoken with New Jersey American, and they've agreed that we'll extend the time to have people connect by 2 years. And so we're putting it on for tonight, and we're allowing for people an extra 2 years to connect. In terms of what's our authority to force people to hook up, there's state law that allows municipalities to regulate public health, safety, and welfare, water being one of them. So if we have a public water project in there and we require people to decommission wells as part of that project and to hook up to it, that's valid under state law, and so that's where we are. Now, having said that, if there are people who fall within a small category of where there might be some issue that would require them to have drilled a well during the pendency of construction, we would be amenable to meeting with them. We've never had a call from anybody to come in for a meeting and discuss anything, though, so anybody who might want to is welcome to do that. In terms of what Sean Keane and Ned Thompson wrote in that assembly bill, I have no idea why they wrote that. You'd have to reach out to their legislative offices, so. Yeah, we don't have contact with them at that level of it, and without any knowledge that you were going to come up and speak about it, we can't even reach out to them.
Can I ask a question?
Well, but 1 second, Mr. Clark, I have a question. The gentleman asked, what are the repercussions for the town if we don't require them to hook up?
So right now, the repercussion is that we have to refund back to New Jersey American a portion of the construction project. So that would be $1,900 per house that has not yet hooked up. And we have a substantial number that have not. So we're looking at, a rather large refund to New Jersey American Water for a project that benefits this particular neighborhood, and which would end up having to be shared by all of the various taxpayers, so.
And this is for money that they put out up front for this project?
Correct.
and Mr. Clark, you said it was $1,900. Someone said $10,000. Could you please explain that?
So
to us?
that's probably the cost of the hookup. So to hire a contractor, we had a program in place for a while, which still exists. So people who at a certain income level can qualify, and we will offer a grant of up to $10,000. We're looking to increase that ceiling. Originally, when we had the grant program in place, $10,000 was about the right number for sewer and water hookups, based on what we learned from the private contractors that were doing it. It's since increased because we're 3-4 years ahead of where we were now. So we're looking to increase that cap, and we're also looking to see if we can tweak the income limits as well.
One last item, and I'm sorry to interrupt one more time. Mr. Clark had mentioned it, that the current extension has run through. So we've been working with New Jersey American Water to get this extension. If the ordinance doesn't pass tonight, it's very possible that $1,915 bill times 200-plus properties comes due tomorrow. And we're going to have to answer to New Jersey American Water on that.
I thought it was only a little bit of homes that were not wanting to hook up to water. Now, that's what we were told at the last.
So
It's
there
about
are
200,
there are
250.
200 that have not yet connected. We're not,
But can I mean,
It's, the project covers Freewood Acres, and that's about 650 homes. We have about 350, 375 that have hooked up right now, so that leaves a substantial number of people that haven't. And so that's where sort of the urgency, first of all, it extends the time period to hook up by 2 years instead of,
for the rest of the people that haven't hooked up to see what reasons why people aren't hooking up?
the other 250 people, no, we haven't, and we have sent out multiple letters.
Three of us here.
Every-
I understand that you've got a lot.
Anybody who wants to is more than welcome to reach out to us and more than welcome to talk about their individual circumstances. But as of right now, we have an ordinance on the books that offers everybody another 2 years to hook up. If this doesn't pass, everybody was supposed to have hooked up a month ago, and water bills are going to start coming out.
Wait a minute, you're going to send out water bills to people that are not hooked up to water?
That's in every one of the must-connect ordinances we have.
We have a
And that's
perfectly
legal.
good well. Okay, but we drink our
Can I-
water. It's just, there was.
One at a time.
That's not fair. This is no freedom here.
And Freewood Acres
We
is
have no
the
choice.
only one being put in the ordinance, and that water line hits other neighborhoods. How come other people aren't being forced? How come it's just Freewood Acres and that's it?
You just ran one down Max and Southern, they're not being forced.
And they're not being forced.
it's not part of this project. That was not funded by New Jersey American. This ordinance covers the Freewood Acres area. Everyone that's connected to this water service as part of this project is in the Must Connect. We have 300 people that have connected already and have been, maybe not happy at spending the money, but to some degree, they've decided to connect and, exactly.
But there
So
are
when
a
we're
lot of us
talking
that
about
don't need
the origin of the project and offering sewer and water service to the entire area, it's an improvement for the entire area. The roads are paved, there are septic, there are septic approvals, I'm not going to talk over.
I really, I'm sorry, but I feel like this is
we need to
not
get a little
working with everybody there at once and interrupt.
Well, a lot of people are over
Excuse me, now,
talking
now,
too.
now,
Let
I'd
me
like
just
to
say
be
this.
able
This
to
is every
continue,
time.
I'm saying, because the problem is with what's happening right now, with people being spoken over. So I understand
Like
you
what
want to
you're
say,
doing.
see, and now you're doing it again. So if you could just wait,
Tracy, don't. I got this.
wait, so that each person has a chance to speak and be
But we got
responded
cut
to, but now you're cutting me off. See, that's the same thing that keeps happening.
Three
And
people
that-
stood
and
up here,
that's-
did we not? And we
what's
were asked to
happening-
sit down. I got
So
it.
what's happening is we're not getting a clean record. So it,
I haven't
it's
spoken yet.
obviously up to
Want
the
to say
governing.
something?
It's up to the governing body, if they
Let
want to have
him finish
everybody
first.
stay up
Let
here
him
at once.
finish first,
But if you're gonna
and I'll
all
address it.
stand here at once, I
You went down the
I-
line and spoke
I-
and haven't answered
excuse
his
me.
question at all.
I'm not trying to make it so that you can't speak. What I'm trying to make it.
Absolutely what you're doing.
Okay, okay.
Trying to make it so that it's
Excuse me.
Okay, I started the clock.
No, please, please, please.
This is how passionate this is.
Well, I respect that and I understand that, but you want an answer,
I'm gonna
but
let you-
everybody is talking. So if we just respect that little piece, everybody, you'll get your answer.
So what we're going to do is we're going to the clock. This is not a give and take, right? Public comment is the public commenting, so say what you have to say,
Okay.
and we'll answer it after.
To answer your question, the original reason why they did that sewer project is because of that sewer stench and that lateral running through my neighborhood in front of my house. It took years to get that done. And I know that project cost $13 million, and I appreciate the fact that you brought that smell under control. And yes, you could bring water in, that's fine. But I spent $11,000, $12,000 on a brand-new deep well, so I didn't have to worry about water anymore. Who's paying me back for the well? Who's paying my family back for the well that I spent $12,000 on? You want me to shell out another 10 grand to shut that, put up the American Water so that you make the New Jersey American Water happy?
Shameful behavior, shameful.
Not for nothing, but I'm pretty sure
One at a time.
the state gave money to the town.
Please speak into the microphone.
I'm pretty sure, wasn't it the state that gave the money to the town for this project? That now they're saying that we're gonna have to give them money back for American Water?
Keep going, you guys are on the clock, we'll answer it after.
Okay.
If you want the
Okay.
$1,900 to pay to New Jersey American Water, I'll write you a check tonight.
It's a gentleman's turn.
This is a breakdown of the laws for New Jersey and other states. And according to this, and we're going to confirm it with our own attorney, that you can hook up to the sewer by statute. You cannot force us to hook up to water without a court order. That's the state law in New Jersey. Supreme Court, New Jersey. So did you look into this before you wrote the statute? Or are you just telling us that your authority is all that it takes? I urge you to look this up because it's very simple to find and we found it. So unless you have a court order to force us, and this is what we're going to fight this on when we get our attorney, we're going all the way. And we're going to get that 250 or some odd people that you said that haven't hooked up yet, we're going to get them all on board. Because this is not right, and that we're not going to stand for it. We're hoping we could do this amicably and get this settled here, but it sounds like it's going to be done through court. So that's all I have to say.
I feel bad that our community has to pay because.
Thank you.
of pig-headedness.
No. Mr. Clark, did you want to complete?
So just very quickly on the state issue of money, I mean, if that was an assembly bill that provided for it, we would have to look to see whether or not it passed. I don't know of any state money that's come our way for that project.
If I may, I did look up that legislation over here. That legislation did not pass, and though obviously if anyone wants to send in any legal authority, we'll take a look at it, but there are state statutes, as alluded to by Mr. Clark, regarding the authority for the connection, and they actually provide for a mechanism of special assessment, which was not taken here, which would have been within the authority of the township, and those are NJSA 4814B and 4056-1 at SAC.
You said 48.14B and the other one?
40-56, 40:56-1 at SAC. So sorry, I can't give you the exact section right now.
That's okay. No, I just wanted to look it up. Thank you. So we're on 18. I will
17.
close this portion of the open. I will close this portion of the meeting and call for a motion on the ordinance.
Motion to approve O23-17.
Second.
Councilwoman Fisher.
Yes.
Councilman Geisler.
Yes.
Councilman Nadell.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell.
Yes.
Mayor Berger.
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance is adopted.
Ordinance 23-18, an ordinance of the Township of Howell supplementing Chapter 188, Article X zones, supplementing Section 188-69 entitled Agricultural Rural Estate Zones, or ARE1, ARE3, ARE4, and ARE6, to include apiary practices and beekeeping as a permitted accessory use with reasonable setback restrictions. I will open this up for public hearing.
Just a quick description of what this ordinance is. The ordinance doesn't really talk about apiaries and beekeeping practices. So we have in some small lot residential zones, people keeping bees. There's an inherent risk, as important as that is, especially with honeybee populations and different things, there is a risk to surrounding areas. We are getting complaints that there are swarms in some neighborhoods, and we feel it necessary. We talked to the county, Right to Farm, we looked at their different statutes This says that it's in the ARE zones, which are 1 acre or larger lot zoning, not our smaller lot. The setback will be 300 feet to a structure unless you have a 6-foot tall fence, then it's reduced to 100 feet. County was very happy with that ordinance, and it's a reasonable ordinance that makes sense to protect health, safety, and welfare.
Thank you. If there's no one coming up, I will close the public session. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2318.
Second.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance is adopted.
Ordinance 23-19, capital ordinance providing for the capital to the Coastal to Trail Extension Improvements Project and appropriating $550,000, therefore authorized in and by the Township of Howell in the County of Monmouth, New Jersey. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 23-19?
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance 2319.
Second.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance passes on first reading.
2320, bond ordinances providing for the acquisition of real property for municipal purposes, appropriating $3.6 million, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3.42 million in bonds and notes to finance a portion of the cost thereof, authorized in and by the Township of Howell in the County of Monmouth, New Jersey. May I have a motion for introduction?
Motion to do so 2320.
Second.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance passes on first reading.
Ordinance 23-21, ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Howell authorizing the acquisition by negotiation or eminent domain of real property designated as Block 39, Lot 1 on the tax map of the Township of Howell. May I have a motion to introduce?
Motion to introduce 23-21.
Second.
Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
The ordinance passes on first reading.
Ordinance 23-22, an ordinance amending Article 10 of the Township Code entitled Zones, revising Section 188-84 entitled Moderate and Low Income Housing Zone 14, known as ML 14 Zone. May I have a motion to introduce?
Before I make a motion, Matt, could you explain that a little more in detail, please?
So this is changes to one of our affordable housing sites. It was formerly known as the Turpac site. They are getting ready to come in for planning board approval. As they're doing more and more engineering, they're finding some site constraints. So they are modifying certain aspects of their plan. This change has some technical ordinances in it regarding buffering, retaining wall height, and the different setbacks for those. Those are mostly just technical requirements as you're looking around the subdivision to avoid variances. One of the bigger changes is that there were 56 units proposed on 2 lots to the north of Casino Drive. The rest of the development was proposed to be between Casino Drive and West Farms Road. That was, I believe, 400 units. The change that they're making when they did some environmental investigations on the north lots, it was found that it was not, there probably wasn't enough room for all of those units. So they're moving those 56 units into the main part of the development. The overall total number of units for the development as a whole is not changing. They're just moving units. The density is not changing. The number of affordable units are not changing.
Could you provide that number?
Of the affordable units, I believe it's 138 affordable. It's 30% of the entire project.
Thank you.
456 total. If those numbers are slightly off, I will get back to you. So it's a major part of our plan. As part of that change, there will be a developers agreement in the future codifying different aspects of the agreement between us and the developer, but one of the main ones is those 2 lots to the north will be dedicated to the township.
But this is just specific to this property.
Correct. So this is the ML14 zone. That is the area specific to this development. In that ordinance, it talks about the specific block and lots, the number of units, the density, and all that. Does not apply to any other part of the township.
And, I'm sorry, and it's not changing the plan, it's just changing where the houses are in one spot to the other. So there's like no change other than that, correct?
Correct. They're modifying the locations of the units. There are different changes to just the roadway alignment and different things as their plans get finalized. But this is these are the changes that impact the ordinance and how it was structured previously. And again, we're getting the land donated to us.
I just want everybody to know that we're not changing the program, we're not doing anything different. That's why I was asking you specifically.
Correct.
Yeah, it's topographical. As they get on there and they do drill down a little bit more, they see things that aren't quite conducive to the plan as originally envisioned. So it has changed, but like Mr. Howard said, we're getting a pretty good chunk of land on the other side of the road. And back last year, I think if my timing's correct, we did pass another ordinance pertaining to this site where they had agreed no ingress egress off of Turpac Road or Stewart Road. So it's just the boulevard type that goes from, I think, West Farms to Casino? Right. So it's lower impact in the residential neighborhoods as well.
Do you know when they're going to begin the project?
According to the developer, they're very close to being done with their approval. This ordinance is required for them to come into the planning board. We expect them to be in front of the planning board in the next couple months. Those hearings might take some time. In terms of construction, you're still a ways out.
I was just thinking about the affordables that would be for the 2025, right?
So we don't have to build by 2025 specifically,
long
especially
as you
if it's
have
in
the
front of the
plan.
planning board and pending.
Right.
We have done more than our share of
Excellent, thank you.
keeping in our plan.
I'd like to make a motion to introduce O23-22.
Second. Councilwoman Fisher?
Yes.
Councilman Gager?
Yes.
Councilman Nadell?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor O'Donnell?
Yes.
Mayor Berger?
Yes.
Thank you. The ordinance passes on first reading.
The next regular scheduled meeting date is June 27th. Executive session will begin at 6, regular session will begin at 7.
Mayor, may I?
Yes.
I just-
I think, was it pertaining to?
So just very quickly, with
sorry.
regard to Mr. Rayberger's comments, we didn't address them. So, it's important for council to realize where all this is coming from. As you know, he's been up here a number of times, and we've met with him personally twice now. We had our traffic group within the police department do a study targeted at learning what's the speed, how many trucks. They did that. So we've expended quite a bit of time, money, and effort on this, and I understand he's disappointed with the results, but the traffic studies time and again have shown that there is no need to lower the speed limit there. And unfortunately, he doesn't particularly care for that answer, but we have met with him in good faith a number of times. He can say whatever he wants about me, but I do take umbrage with his characterization of the police department. They're out there every day doing their very best. And whenever we ask them, can you please go out there and do another traffic count, they will do it without question. It doesn't support the result he wants. He's very upset about it, clearly. But sometimes that's what the studies show, and that's what's happening in this particular case, so.
And even more so, in our meeting, we brought up the laws that govern how you can remove truck traffic on roadways. We're looking to do that for truck routes across town, and we brought up the state law that says you need to have a needs analysis done. You have to show history of traffic impacts, the traffic studies, accidents, fatalities, things like that. And we said, this is what it would take to do. We can't do this for just one road. We have to look at this globally because especially Arnold Boulevard's right at the Lakewood border. It impacts Ocean County, Monmouth County, Lakewood, plus all the other surrounding towns. And it wasn't good enough. It was very clear in our meeting, which we spent, I think, an hour and a half with Mr. Rayberger on that. Just do it. It can't be that hard. Remove the trucks from my road. They're not going to go on Ramtown Greenville Road to Newton's Corner Road to the four-way stop. They're not going to do that. Why would they do that? They'll take county line. Well, it's not that simple. And we tried to have that conversation. Like Mr. Clark had said, it's probably one of the more well-studied roads in town. 3 different studies, 3 different police departments at the time. With people in the police department, they all come to the same conclusion. We're listening, we're trying to do our best to look at these impacts and put resources where they'll do the most good. And we still have an overall plan forward with truck routes. It just does not include one specific road at one time for the detriment of everybody else around them.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I apologize. I should have added to my report. We'd like to congratulate Mr. and Mrs. Thomas Russo on their birth of their baby girl. So Tommy and Amanda, congratulations. We all wish you the best.
That's very sweet. So at this point, I would just like to say Happy Pride to everybody, and I'd like a motion to adjourn.
I have something to say, Mayor. Our residents are allowed to come up here and say what they want within limits, obviously, in their 5 minutes. We don't necessarily have to like everything they have to say. Mr. McCabe is the king of theater, so for him to come up here and say what he did, it's just classic. It was perfect, actually. Not even including his title. Well, we know who you are, Mr. McCabe. The other thing, and I again, blindsided, I pledge allegiance to the American flag, Mayor.
Yes, so do I.
Not to that flag, not to the Italian flag. October is Italian Heritage Month. Should I come up here with an Italian flag? We have to maintain some kind of order to our meetings. And this is not what I signed up for.
Well,
so
I
when we
take
pledge
umbrage.
allegiance to the flag, it's the American flag, because that's the flag that unites us. I can go through a list of every month of the year that is dedicated to different causes, and they're all equally valid. But
This
we
is a
have to
personal
maintain
cause for
some
me.
kind of order here, Mayor Berger. And I
Yes,
took
ma'am.
offense to that comment, and you do this. And you are the mayor, and you have a certain say, of course, but you can't blindside us, because we're all equal here. So when I respectfully request, and we pledge allegiance to the American flag, that we respect the American flag, and only the American flag. Thank you.
Once again, Happy Pride, everyone. And I
Please.
take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Fly your flag, everyone. I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.